Listener discretion is advised.
All right, you are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Get it?
Yeah, get after it. Had a long day, could use some wine.
It's been a long year this week.
It really has.
Yep.
Not quite as much of an emotional roller coaster as last week.
Last week was bizarre.
Yeah.
It was
particularly awful.
And Kenyon and I are currently just trying to like do adult type things that are not working out as smoothly as we
Not
had
in our
expected.
skill sets, it turns out.
Less so for Kenyon.
All three of us
Me,
are doing
TBD.
I'm trying to refinance, which is essentially repurchasing my house.
Right. So we're all trying
nightmare.
to do it.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
thing.
not fun.
It's great.
Who
And it's
said
so
any
great.
of this would be hard? We weren't warned.
No one taught us anything.
No. I can sew a duffel bag like
I was
nobody's
just going to
business.
say, I can
Right?
sew a really mediocre duffel bag.
Yep. Guess how much I've used that skill.
God. Still have that bag. All right.
Lord.
Also, for everybody listening to the audio version of this, if you want to see the video version of this episode, you can join our Patreon. And
At any level.
at
to
any
get
level,
access.
$1 a month on up, and you
that
have full
boner
access
content.
to all that boner content.
Boner-inducing content.
And
It's our OnlyFans.
I will be wearing a robe with my hair unwashed and unbrushed in every single episode. So
Yeah.
get ready for
I
that.
put on a shirt 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I forgot we were recording this, and
For video.
I have not brushed my hair in 2 days, and no makeup
Yeah.
has befallen me.
These
But it's
are
fine.
grease crimes.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We're crushing
Trap.
it. Grease trap crimes.
All right. Well, we have a very special fan pick this week brought to you by Maddie Eichenlaub.
Oh, I
I can love you.
Yeah, there it is.
An Ike for an Ike.
And Maddie has selected the topic of Wall Street crimes, which is exciting because we get to pontificate about a topic that we know nothing about.
Oh, no.
But I pray doesn't collapse and destroy my Roth IRA.
I Googled securities fraud because I just don't. I mean,
get it.
what? I Googled it and I still don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, Zach and I had a full-on conversation the other day that was like, but really, what is the difference between a pyramid scheme
Yeah.
and
just capitalism.
business?
Yeah. I did not want to wrap my head around
Capitalism.
the whole like Wall Street fraud
Yeah.
angle. So the only connection to Wall Street in my case is that the victim like worked for Goldman Sachs and did some Wall Street trading.
That's it?
Excellent.
That's it. I was like, I'm not
Great.
going. I'm not touching it.
I
hate it.
tried, but I
Yeah.
mostly focused on douchey details.
Totally.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Love it. Great.
Okay, so let's get right to the alcohol. Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for Wall Street crimes?
I am very excited to pair Theopolis Vineyards 2014 Anderson Valley Pinot Noir
Ooh.
with this.
You are stroking that
I-
bottle.
Yeah,
I have
it's a
been-
very beautiful bottle.
I bought this bottle a while ago and it's been staring at me waiting for us to record this episode, so I'm so excited.
It looks so much bigger than your face.
It
from
is.
that camera angle.
She thick.
Is it a Magnum?
No,
Or,
it's not a
You have a
Magnum.
really small head, though.
I
You
just
have a very
head.
tiny
I have a
head.
pinhead. I'm a little peanut. So I chose this pairing because I actually wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the history of Black Wall Street as we toast with this amazing wine from a Black-owned vineyard. So head to theopolisvineyards.com to check out their website. I just ordered wine through their website. It was delivered to my house, so it could not be any easier, and it's just gorgeous. And before the Tulsa race massacre, where the city's black district of Greenwood was attacked by a white mob, resulting in 2 days of bloodshed and destruction, the area had been considered one of the most affluent African-American communities in the United States for the early part of the 20th century. The massacre, which began on May 31st, 1921, and left hundreds of black residents dead and 1,000 houses destroyed.
And local law enforcement did nothing to protect black lives.
In fact, participated,
yeah.
Often overshadows the history of the venerable black enclave itself. So Greenwood District, with a population of 10,000 people at the time, had thrived as the epicenter of African-American business and culture, particularly on bustling Greenwood Avenue, commonly known as Black Wall Street. So I just want to, we can't get too deeply into it because we also have a whole episode to record, but I wanted to mention that, and we can all let this massacre serve as a reminder of the role that we play as white people and, not of the BIPOC community in systemic oppression and staunching access to independent and generational wealth in black communities. So buying thoughtfully from black-owned businesses is just one small way that we can support black communities. So Black Lives fucking matter and buy black.
Yeah. Especially when it's Pinot Noir.
Oh my God. Yeah. It combines all the things that I want to support.
Buy black and buy noir.
And buy wine. So this Pinot Noir is an expression of Anderson Valley terroir. This exquisite Pinot Noir has aromas of lightly toasted oak and delicate rose petals with flavors of cherry and raspberry, highlighted with subtle undertones of forest floor to round out the bouquet.
That sounds like what I was going for with my wedding theme.
1,000%.
Like decor-wise.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This Pinot Noir is savory, which adds length to a memorable finish and clocks in at 14.9% ABV.
Not fucking around.
Nope. And it is a popper.
I'm into this.
If you do not already have your nice pop wine key, procure one or any other delightful merch item at wineandcrimepodcast.bigcartel.com.
And we're going to be having some new fall items hitting the store.
All right.
Eventually.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me pop my White Claw quick.
Claws out for Jesus. All right. Here we go. Uh-oh. All right. I broke the cork. That's okay. It's got to go in a little deeper. Sometimes we try and we fail. All right.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
I'm persisting.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That was very nice.
That was a beautiful pop.
Nice pop ever. Oh, just look at her.
Oh, would you look at her?
Just
Stunned.
look at him.
Would you look at him? Cheers, loves.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm going to finish my coffee before I start in on my wine.
That's fair. You just woke up.
Just mix them.
You're starting your
You just
day.
woke up. It's 5 p.m.
It's almost 6 p.m. my time, but this day has just disappeared, so it feels like 1 p.m.
100%.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know what the fuck I did all day.
Yeah. So,
And I was up at 8.
Ish.
God, what?
This wine is phenomenal, by the way. Phenomenal.
Nice. Gonna have to order a bottle. Okay, Lucy, fuck us up with these notes.
Fuck us up Wall Street, I guess.
Fuck us up Wall Street with whatever you have to share with us for background and psych.
My notes are meandering. I'm going to start there because
Great.
I cannot state this enough. I do not understand the stock market, nor do I have a desire to understand.
Oh, not even close.
Not even a little bit. So here we go. In a literal sense, Wall Street is an 8-block street in Lower Manhattan.
Is a street. Special thanks.
It is. Those are words. That is a street.
There are walls.
We'll get to it. And this will piggyback very nicely off of Amanda's segment about Black Wall Street.
Great.
I can't. Okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not cute. Okay. It's an 8-block street in Lower Manhattan's financial district in New York City between 1685 and 1699, the good old days.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
No.
No.
not for women, not for people of color.
No. But for modern day Republicans, when a southern part of the island was called New Amsterdam, there was a literal wall on the street. And the Dutch, because this was like a Dutch colony, called it Die Walstraat.
Nice.
Which it might be because there was a wall, which we will get to, but it
On
also
the
could
street.
be the last name of several families that came over to colonize this area.
Yeah,
they were all
okay.
called like the Walcotts, or it was a Walcott. It
Dutch
was some Dutch name.
Really
well, De Wall is a
spread-
pretty common Dutch last name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then it might be that.
There you go.
So here's probably a more accurate description about how all of this wall shit went down. And this is an excerpt from author William James Sidis's book called The Tribes and the States, written in 1935. Quote, God, this makes me mad. Also, nothing new.
Also, context, 1935, this is gonna be racist.
There's gonna be
It's
very
not
out of touch language.
preferable
Language.
lingo.
Yeah.
But this is a quote. Here we go. The red people from Manhattan Island crossed to the mainland, where a treaty was made with the Dutch, and the place was therefore called the Pipe of Peace, in their language, Hoboken,
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
God.
Okay.
Kenyon's hometown.
Now known as a New Jersey cesspool. Just kidding. Hoboken's actually kind of nice.
Home of SantaCon.
Yeah.
Oh, was that where that bank was robbed?
One of the many
Yes.
Santa Cons.
Amazing. But soon after that, the Dutch governor, whose name was Kieft or something like that, sent his men out there one night and massacred the entire population. Few of them escaped, but they spread the story of what had been done, and this did much to antagonize all the remaining tribes against the white settlers.
Shocking.
Go
Don't
fucking
say.
figure. Shortly after, New Amsterdam, which was this area, the lower part of Manhattan,
Right.
erected a double palisade for defense against its now enraged red neighbors.
Jesus
and
fucking
this
Christ.
remained for some time the northern limit of the Dutch city. The space between the former walls is now called Wall Street, and its spirit is still that of a bulwark against the people.
1,000%.
I
Wow.
do have a photo on the drive, which will be on the blog, of a map of this area in 1660, and you can see on the right side of it that
Yeah.
it's like a fortress wall.
Interesting. I
That
didn't
is
know
bizarre.
that about Wall Street.
Now you do.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Great.
Starting in 1626, Wall Street was a bustling slave trading marketplace.
Oh, good.
In fact, on December 13th, 1711, the New York City Common Council made Wall Street the city's first official slave market for the sale and rental of
No.
enslaved Africans and Indians.
No.
So it was a literal wooden platform that held about 50 people at a time. It had a roof and then like open sides. And it was located at the corner of Wall Street and Pearl. It operated for about 50 years. The city benefited from these sales directly by putting taxes on every human being bought or sold there. And there
Yeah.
is also an illustration on the drive, which will be on the blog, of this wooden
market.
construct.
Yeah, I mean, when activists say stolen land built by stolen hands, that is like every facet of this.
Yeah, it's
Is
just it's ticking
brutality,
all
yeah.
of the racism
Every
and
single box.
shameful history box. And
Fuck.
for people listening, like who maybe don't identify as liberals or as Democrats, like we are still patriotic American citizens, but we recognize the factual history of this country and this land and the horrific things that have been done in the past that have become entrenched systems.
Yep, in the entire framework of our society. We
Yes.
have
We
to
all have to
rebuild
work-
all of it.
We all have to work to dismantle this because
Yep.
this is not an exaggeration.
No.
These are
Right.
facts.
Right.
Right.
Dissent is patriotic. Reparations.
Yep.
Anyway. Wall Street is home to several stock exchanges, whatever that means, including the two largest in the world, which are NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange.
Sock
And by the way,
change.
Stock change.
Sock full of change.
By
the way,
that's what I take to the trading floor. It's just a sock, a dirty sock full of the coins I found in my couch. Can you make this into $1 million, please?
Amanda's on the sock change.
Yeah.
Can I get $1 million?
I think I'm doing it wrong.
Not really. As far as I know, that is how it works.
My guy basically started with a sock full of change. So
Fair.
A sock full of change makes a really effective weapon, too, I will say. NASDAQ, by the way, stands for the National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotations.
I super don't understand the stock market, but I super duper don't understand how there are different ones.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't explain it. I don't get it.
Like
I don't know.
Like
Who here can explain it?
Oh, fair
Not me.
I understand how like originally there would be different ones in different countries, maybe. But like I don't like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and then
Salt and pepper.
is there a general one?
You're asking the wrong people.
What's the baseline one?
I don't know. Your own income?
Sure.
Whatever. It's all fucking-
Babysitting? Under the table cash is, I think, the baseline one. Okay. So because of the location of these major exchanges, there are also a ton of brokerage firms around Wall Street as well. And I got a fun fact for you.
All right.
The
Ant fact?
hashtag bug facts.
Bug fact. Got it.
The Buttonwood Agreement, ever heard of it?
No.
is a formal document that was basically the beginning of the New York Stock Exchange, and it was signed in 1792. And it is called this because there was a buttonwood tree on one end of Wall Street where traders and speculators would go. And they'd gather there to trade securities. I don't know what any of these words mean.
They
But
would
it was
go
based
and
on-
exchange socks full of
Socks
change.
full of change.
They'd be like, your quarter is worth one of my nickels. Let's make a chain.
Totally.
But it was a literal tree, which I thought was kind of cool. So this is from a cheatsheet.com article.
.com.
You heard it, right?
I heard it.
You fully
What?
said cheatsheet.com.
Come. Whatever.
Come
Fuck it.
to
Doesn't
my
matter.
No.
window.
I'll be home
Cheatsheet.jizz.
soon.
With so much jizz flying around, just kidding. With so much money flying around, coupled with paltry amounts of oversight and regulation, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
What?
The idea of cutting corners here and there can become wildly attractive. There have been hundreds, if not thousands, of Wall Street criminals over the years, if not billions.
Billion.
Their misdeeds ranging from simple insider trading to massive Ponzi schemes perpetrated over several years. The 2008 financial crisis also saw its genesis on Wall Street, where only a handful of white-collar criminals were able to bring the entire country to its knees.
Basically, none of whom were ever prosecuted.
Yeah.
I think
Great.
I feel like there was an episode that we did previously, but I couldn't find which one it was, where we did talk about the fact that exactly 3 people served any jail time for that whole
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, we definitely have talked about this, but I can't remember what episode either.
Yeah. I looked through our list
Insider
and I
trading,
couldn't figure it
maybe?
out.
Did we
Was
do-
that an episode? No.
No. I
No,
don't think we did
inside.
that.
I think for inside jobs,
Oh,
you talked a
maybe.
lot about insider trading.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Because I found the exact same article and I was like, I recognize this layout. But I couldn't figure it out. But yes, if you're interested, go listen to Insider Trading. I can't do this again. Okay. So clearly a lot of crimes can be committed on Wall Street, including but not limited to securities fraud, which I said I had to Google.
Yep.
So here's Wikipedia's definition.
When you pretend to be a security guard at a Best Buy,
There can be only one Paul Blart.
only be one.
Okay, securities fraud, also known as stock fraud and investment fraud, is a deceptive practice in the stock or commodities markets that induces investors to make purchase or sale decisions on the basis of false information, frequently resulting in losses in violation of securities laws.
Okay, so
Oh,
one
that
of my
makes
guys
sense.
did this too. So
Yeah.
I'm fully within the
Yeah.
thing of the topic. I
Yeah, my
nailed
guy
it.
did this too as well.
Fully
Oh,
nailed
well,
it. And
okay,
I
here's
knew
where it gets-
ahead of time.
Here's where it gets a little-
securities fraud.
Here's where the definition gets a little muddy.
Oh, great.
Securities fraud can also include outright theft from investors, so embezzlement by stockbrokers.
That
Yep.
makes
Stock-
sense.
Stock manipulation, misstatements on a public company's financial reports, and lying to corporate auditors.
This is what Ryan did when he took over at Dunder Mifflin, when he took Jan's job. He misled
Totally.
the investors.
Woof.
Woof.
The term encompasses a wide range of other actions, including insider trading, front running, and other illegal acts on the trading floor of a stock or commodity exchange.
I don't know what front running is, but the
Me
rest
neither.
of it makes sense, actually.
Yep.
So basically, like all of that stuff, I understand where you're like, okay, this company is doing better than it actually is. Look at how great it's doing. And yeah, all that makes sense as crimes.
Yeah, it's how you got your mortgage approval or whatever, right?
Excuse me,
Not true.
pardon. Still don't have it, actually. So
Yeah, I wish we could have just laundered money and paid cash. We wouldn't be in this situation in the first place if we were good at defrauding our quote-unquote investors.
Yeah,
it's
we're
really,
really bad at
really
fraud.
fun applying for a mortgage as
When you're
a small business
self-employed.
owner with like a millennial type
During
business
COVID,
during COVID.
we're having
Yeah.
a blast.
Having lived abroad in South Africa for 5 years, they're like,
Nothing fishy there. Nothing fishy.
They're like, you are a criminal. Can't figure
Clearly.
out how yet.
but we've got you pegged.
But you're fucking fishy as fuck.
Yeah, we do not trust anything that's going on here.
Yep.
I overheard Corey talking to our refinance guy over the phone, and he was explaining that he quit his job to open a restaurant during a pandemic.
Exactly what a lender
And-
wants to hear when you're trying to refinance.
And he's telling him what I do for a living and like how much money we have and all this stuff. And he was on speakerphone, and the refi guy was like,
I gotta
"Can
call you back.
explain
this a little bit more in depth?" And Corey's like, that's all there really is to it. He's like,
Sir.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is your wife is a comedian
Yep.
who cannot perform live, and
Right.
you're opening a restaurant that people cannot
Can't
go to.
"You're right.
Got it.
Got it. Awesome.
Nail on
Let's
the
do
head."
it.
Here's $2 million in
Give us
loan money.
give us
oh, wait,
80
it's
grand.
not 2006, so never mind.
Okay. So other crimes: money laundering, insider trading, investment scams. Those are all pretty upfront. And Ponzi schemes. And I understand what a Ponzi scheme is, but I Googled it just to get a solid definition anyway. And this is from Investopedia. A Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investing scam promising high rates of return with little risk to investors.
Cutco knives, got it.
Also, those leggings.
Yes.
No, but those are MLMs.
Yeah.
This is more like
Well, we'll get to it. The Ponzi scheme generates returns for early investors by acquiring new investors. Leggings. This is similar to a pyramid scheme in that both are based on using new investors' funds to pay the earlier backers.
Yep.
So both Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes eventually bottom out when the flood of new investors dries up and there isn't enough money to go around. At that point, the schemes unravel.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Ponzi
They're
seems just
super
like
similar,
Yeah,
but
a much larger scale
It's
version.
a stock market
Yeah.
pyramid scheme is what a Ponzi scheme
right.
is.
It's a stock market MLM instead of investors. MLMs have people who think that they're
Working for themselves and selling products.
self-employed. Yeah.
Entrepreneurs.
Right.
Oh, man. Okay. So as we've seen before and has been made crystal fucking clear from the 2009 crash, these motherfuckers really only ever have to pay fines to make up for their wrongdoings.
Yep.
So God bless America, and I'm going to go watch Wolf of Wall Street and drink heavily and just weep as soon as we're done with this recording.
It's all
And
nonsense.
It's all completely nonsense.
Yeah. It's fictional. So that's my segment.
And also, if you're just like a regular person, having the administration say that the stock market is rebounding and the stock market this and the stock market that, if you don't own stocks, that doesn't help you.
It really signifies nothing.
Well, and it's also that same way he's fucking spinning shit as like there have been created more jobs than in like our 10-year history. And it's like, yeah, but you're not factoring
After
in that
losing
that's
all of the
because
jobs.
we lost. Yes.
Oh, there are 3 jobs left in America.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, we have them.
Yes.
And they're tenuous.
Yeah. It's just
Are on real shaky ground.
take everything Trump says and any politician says with a grain of salt and with a lot of the context that they are not fucking including.
Yeah.
And don't forget to vote.
And if you can't make up
vote.
your mind, just vote for the guy who's not a blatant racist.
Right.
Right.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Vote for the one who's like cool with you having health care.
Yeah. Yeah. During a pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy, literally named Guy.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. Classic,
Guy's
right?
named Guy.
Why would you name a child Guy?
I like to just pronounce it Guy just to frustrate them.
Well, in France it's Guy, but
I
I'm
know.
pretty sure this guy is Guy.
Let's go with Gooey.
Gooey.
What?
I like Gooey.
Loving it.
Last name, I think it's pronounced Gentile. It could also be Gentile, but I think it's
No.
Gentile.
Let's not go with
Gooey
Gentile.
Gentile is
What? This guy. Yikes.
Gooey
Also-
Gentile. Mm-mm.
also a sub fetish. So
You could make your OnlyFans. Fans only?
yeah,
OnlyFans.
Gooey Gentile.
You're a gooey Gentile, my friend.
Okay, so Gooey was born in 1976 in Yonkers, New York, to a
No.
working class family.
And that's the crime. Special thanks.
Yonkers is the crime.
Where is Yonkers?
It's north of Manhattan. It's like basically New York City. It used to kind of be more like suburbs of New York City.
Is it near that place I can't pronounce? It's like bedstand bugs or something.
Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy.
Bugs.
Bed-Stuy is part of Brooklyn. So no.
Is that how you say it?
Just Google it. Let's keep going.
Yeah, Bed-Stuy is how you say it.
Okay.
I'm betting a Bed-Stuy.
You're confused. It's the UY thing again. Because I used to pronounce it before I lived in New York, Stuyvesant. And they're like, what? And it's pronounced Stuyvesant. But
So Bed-Stuyvesant?
Bedford Stuyvesant. But it's
Oh, Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, smart ass, if I Googled it, I'd just see it written out.
And it does
Doesn't
look like
help.
it
I
does
meant
look like
Google like the
Stuyvesant.
location of it.
Also, my father-in-law is listening to this right now and pissing his pants.
Rolling over in his
Okay.
premature grave.
Hey, Kenny. Miss you.
He's still upset that you mispronounced Albany at the live show.
What did I say?
Albany.
Oh, no.
Oh, who cares? Kenny, get over it. Jesus.
Go polish your sneakers.
Okay, so back to Gooey. When Gentile was a teenager, he worked summers for his dad's gardening business, mowing lawns and weeding. Gooey was a below-average student, but the summer job made him realize that he did enjoy making money. So he began working during the school year as well, delivering pizzas on nights and weekends. And honestly, this is the last time that I had any respect for this guy because he's actually working and hustling as a teenager.
Yeah.
And it all goes downhill for people.
I'm sure it does.
He spent most of his pizza money on buying and fixing up a used car, a 1985 silver Monte Carlo. There's a photo on the drive. It's not his, but it's that model.
Love it.
Love a good Monte Carlo. I can smell the BO from here.
Oh, and the cigarette. You know that the seats have just soaked up much cigarette smell.
Yeah.
Here for it.
Like a casino floor.
Yes. But worse, because
like-
at least casinos have like some ventilation.
Yeah.
Right.
Little like melted spots where in the crotch area.
Absolutely.
ashing
where all the
definitely
butts
burned.
fell. Oh, fuck. So he also began drag racing in New Jersey.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the crime.
Yeah.
We got to it.
As high school graduation loomed, Gentile was unsure what to do with his life. He was interested in becoming a police officer, but ultimately didn't pursue it, probably because he was too fucking lazy.
Not that it takes much to become a police officer.
Well,
That's like a great job for you if you are lazy.
it should take a lot. Yeah.
It doesn't, though.
Not always. His first job out of high school was more niche. I don't know how he got this job, but he became a syrup quality control inspector at a Coca-Cola plant.
That's like Lucy and her mom's ideal job.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Actually, though.
Yep.
You're like, you and your mom are like those women in like Havana or the Dominican Republic who are the cigar tasters at the factory.
But
like,
for Coca-Cola.
you know that all those factories, like they only have female cigar tasters because women have
Better
like
palates.
better taste buds. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And yes, that is like my mother and me. But we just go around to McDonald's around the country and do
Fountain
the same thing.
Cokes. So then when Gentile was 21 years old, he stumbled upon the website E-Trade, which allowed users to perform day trades like stock market shit online.
Sure. Which we completely understand. Moving on.
Get. He quickly became obsessed with day trading, and after making a bit of money on the platform, he decided to create one of his own.
His own, like, e-trading platform?
Yep.
Okay.
He called it Day Trader Pro, and it was essentially a subscription service that for $35 a month would provide, it's like a Patreon for day trades, would provide, quote, insider advice to help people, quote, make a fortune in the stock market.
And you could probably get 20% off with promo code GALS.
Promo code Gooey Gentile.
Promo code Gooey.
So, did this guy have either the experience or the knowledge to justify creating his own etrade.com? No.
I'd argue yes.
He
All that
did
time
a few
tasting,
trades.
finger tasting syrup really prepares you for this moment.
Right?
This is how I assume he's doing it, like in the factory, just dipping a pinky and licking it. Next. Next.
Yeah, basically just the confidence of a mediocre white man is just always astounding.
Yeah.
What else is new?
So Gentile's trading advice included wisdom nuggets like the following, quote, don't attempt to buy at the bottom or sell at the top. Wait and see which way it's going.
Okay, well, that much I knew. If that's all it takes to be like an online day trader, sign me up.
Only $35 a month for wisdom like that. delivered straight to your inbox.
Wow.
But somehow, within a year, Gentile had enough subscribers to Day Trader Pro to quit his job at Coca-Cola.
Wow. And this was like
He
early-ish.
was out of a sticky situation.
Oh, God. This would be like early-ish aughts, though. If E-Trade was kind of just hitting the scene, then he clearly struck while the iron was hot.
Yeah.
And if you make, I mean, especially back in the kind of the earlier days of the internet, like the internet
was
was really
4 websites.
right. It was easy to make something look credible because like everything kind of looked like shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He then created another website that was basically just another ripoff of E-Trade that performed trades for users for a small fee.
Mm-hmm.
By 2009, Gentile, now in his early 30s, was making millions off of his sites.
Wow.
And he was not subtle about his cash flow.
Oh, good.
What man is?
Right. He purchased Ferraris and Lamborghinis and bragged that
they were all yellow.
Yeah. Oh. And bragged that one of his cars supposedly had once belonged to R. Kelly. Although I don't know why you would brag about owning a pedophile's piss-stained used car.
Yeah, you should turn that in as evidence.
Yeah.
It's a crime scene.
It
literally.
Ish.
Guy also humbly referred to himself in public as a simple jet setter.
Oh my God.
This guy is so full of shit.
He's just like if Fire Festival like coalesced into one guy.
On the surface, he's an Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, he's a dry cheese sandwich in a styrofoam container.
He's a sentient fire festival.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
But then Guy's trading business ran into a bit of an obstacle. The U.S. government had begun cracking down on day trading, and they passed regulations that, among other things, required people day trading to have at least $25,000 to their names, like in savings or in assets.
Who has that?
Well,
in assets. Okay.
How
so like
much?
a home.
25,000?
Yeah.
That's
So, like, if you own property worth $25,000, or if you have $25,000 in the bank, then you can E-trade.
That's still like more than a lot of people have.
Yeah, that's
true.
a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I couldn't imagine. Yeah. So the government also banned funding trades with credit cards. So basically, the regulations are designed to protect vulnerable consumers. It's kind of like gambling regulations because it's preventing people who don't have the money from taking these financial risks, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, like Wall Street is very high stakes gambling in a lot of ways.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
In every way, really.
Yeah.
It's bougie gambling.
It's bougie, acceptable white man gambling.
If it does not have a glittery kitten on it and a lever I can pull, I am not interested. If they made an e-trading website like that, I'd be living on.
Did you just become a billionaire?
I might have, but if that exists, I am about to be destitute because I will put all of my money into that.
Your own company.
Yeah.
Create an app, like a phone app that looks
kitty
like
glitter
like
Wall Street trader
yes,
app.
Yes, but
Done.
instead it's like Acorns, where it's like
Yes.
investing money, but it looks like feels like you're gambling.
Great.
Cool.
Oh, I'd be
Nothing
into
unethical
that.
about that.
That'd be kind of fun, actually.
I'm here
Trademark.
for it.
Okay.
A glittery acorns.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
like that
want.
Kenyon says trademark in the same way that Michael Scott declares bankruptcy by just saying it out loud.
Trademark. It also comes with the finger check.
I didn't
Trademark.
say it, I declared it.
Oh, okay. So these regulations obviously make sense, but they severely limited Guy's client base. Don't worry, though. He soon landed on a solution to his problem. Guy just up and moved to the Bahamas, where there were no restrictions on day trading and where he was still allowed to take on American clients as long as he didn't advertise to them.
Sure, okay.
So he outsourced himself. What's it
Great.
called? what's it called when you offshore? Whatever.
Offshore, yeah.
Expatriation.
You know what I'm saying. So
Defenestration.
his trading business continued to be profitable and all seemed well for a few years until 2012 when Gentile received a call from the FBI.
Classic.
They're not allowed to call the Bahamas.
Well, they did.
They clearly are.
He was being investigated by the SEC for penny stock manipulation schemes in 2007 and 2008 when he still
Wolf of
lived in
Wall
the
Street.
U.S.
Yep.
So maybe that's how they got him.
They're like, hey guy, we have a present for you, a late birthday present. If you just come back to New York for a minute,
We'll
I can
give it to
you.
Literally, you don't
Oh
know.
my
You
God,
don't
yes.
know how close you were.
I mean, I would
Gifts
fall for
work.
that.
If I would 1,000% fall for that.
There's a kitten over in this bush. You
In
just
this
need to
van.
You just need to come
Your
check it out.
FabFit Fun Box got redirected to our headquarters. I don't know why,
this-
but you'll have to come pick it up in person. I'm there.
On my
I'm chartering
way.
a plane.
To this bunker.
Yeah, we can't forward it to you.
One of these schemes that he was involved in involved a gold mine in Mexico. Sounds like a solid investment.
Sounds like a gold mine.
Class.
And also a natural gas company in Kentucky.
Get it?
Gentile
Kenyon's butt.
yeah.
Kenyon's
That's actually a very solid investment. It is
Yeah,
a
it is.
sustainable resource.
It's a geyser. A very loud geyser.
Man, that's dead. So, Gentile, along with several co-conspirators, had manipulated these essentially worthless stocks, in part by bribing people to buy shares in order to generate interest and then, create a false impression of liquidity and have the price go up.
Yep.
They also created fake brochures for the companies, touting profits and plans for future growth that did not exist. So just classic securities fraud.
Yep.
Would a fake brochure be called a faux sure?
Oh, for
for
sure
sure.
it would.
They then sold their shares at inflated prices, scamming investors out of more than $15 million. Gentile agreed to fly to New York to meet with the FBI
For his
Pick up
FabFit
his
Fun Box.
FabFit
to pick
Fun
up
Box.
his FabFit Fun Box, insisting that he had done nothing wrong.
Like you said, the confidence of a mediocre white man.
It is unparalleled.
Yep.
Like, just stay in the Bahamas. Although I'm sure there's probably an extradition treaty, so they would have gotten him eventually. But,
Right.
I don't know. Why would you help them? I don't know.
You just walk into it. Yeah.
FBI agents met with Gentile at a diner, and rather than arresting him, they presented him with an
A
offer.
FabFit Fun Box.
An offer he couldn't refuse. A FabFit
All right.
Fun box. FabFit Fun did not buy this episode, by the
No,
way.
we just really like those boxes.
Oh, I just fucking love getting my FabFit Fun Box. And I would 1,000% return from the Bahamas to get
Yeah.
one.
No joke.
So they explained to Gentile that he would have no chance in court. He had participated in a classic pump and dump scheme not related to breast
Ick.
milk. And it would be an open and shut case.
Right, right.
So gross.
But rather than immediately seizing his assets and throwing him in jail, they would allow him to remain a free man if he would agree to turn informant and help them bring in other white-collar criminals. And he
Okay.
agreed.
Got it.
The next day, he sat down with his lawyer and an assistant U.S. district attorney to hammer out the details of this deal. Gentile felt that the prosecutor promised to drop the charges against him if he cooperated in good faith.
I have a feeling he's going to get that wrong, but okay.
What Gentile and his attorney did not do, however, was get the deal in writing.
What?
What a shitty attorney.
Yeah, that's worse than me going, trademark.
Right. Way worse.
You're
Yeah.
an attorney.
Sir.
Get your shit together.
Okay, so we're already better attorneys and like day traders than Guy
Then Gooey.
on a good day.
Then Gooey Gentile.
I'm a phenomenal day trader. What's a day trader?
Day
But
tripper.
also, what's a day trader?
So the FBI planned to use him to help catch Wall Street guys who were essentially better at fraud than he had been.
Sure. Okay.
So people who had long been suspected of committing financial crimes but actually knew how to cover their tracks somewhat, unlike this guy.
Yeah.
One of these people was Adam Gotbetter. It gets better. A man with a $12 million condo on the Upper East Side.
Oh, just a simple manner.
He
Simple
was
jet setter.
Yeah, just a jet setter.
12 million. Can you? I can't.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It's grotesque.
It's too much.
Gotbetter also played in a, quote, dad band for fundraisers at his daughter's elite prep school.
Ugh.
That's the whitest sentence that's
I'm
like ever been
salivating.
uttered.
Oh, it's so gross.
It's disgusting.
And presented himself as an expert at taking small companies public. And I super do not understand going public.
It means like opening it up
I know.
to public trading.
I know that.
I got. It's enough.
That's the extent of all I know.
I get that part, but I don't get the fundamentals of it. Like,
Sure.
I don't get why you'd want to go public and why some aren't and some are and who decides and how
I
you
assume it's
figure out the
mostly-
valuation.
I assume it's mostly a risk assessment thing. Like if you have the private backing to not open it up to the public and you can
Then
continue to flourish and then you don't
control.
have to pay out more investors.
And you can keep your numbers in the dark a little bit more.
Right. And then when you
So
open it up to the public, you have all these other investors that you're beholden to, but you could end up crowdsourcing support for your business.
Yeah, I think you have to be super fucking confident in the success and the numbers of your business in order to go public, but there are pros and cons to both. Then again, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
we should go. Let's go public.
Let's go. Oh my God.
Free the nipple.
Free the nipple. There it is.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Thank you, my sports bra. Okay. The FBI had identified a pattern of suspicious spikes and drops in the value of companies that Gotbetter was associated with. At the time of their investigation, the combined peak market value of these companies was $5 billion more than their actual estimated worth.
Oh, good.
$5 billion.
Yeah, that's
Not
a
much.
huge
So when we
fraudulent
Push
it under the rug.
inflation. Yeah.
That's why when we say the stock market is nonsense, it's literal nonsense.
Right.
So Gotbetter had helped Gentile out with the natural gas scam back in 2007. So the FBI saw Gentile as a perfect way to catch this much bigger fish because they already had an established relationship. blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Gentile called Gotbetter, who agreed to a breakfast meeting. Ugh.
Never agree to a meeting before 1 p.m.
No.
Breakfast?
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
Gentile wore a recording device, but Gotbetter would not talk about the natural gas deal. He did, however, ask for Guy's help with a new scheme. The FBI decided to let Gentile pursue this scheme in order to catch Gotbetter. For his part, Guy felt like he was living out his old dreams of becoming a cop. So he was like getting off on being an informant, basically,
Yup.
but he didn't see himself as an informant. He saw himself as like an FBI agent.
Right.
Yeah, like that motherfucker who shot those people in Kenosha.
Sort of. And he eagerly offered to help go after more criminals for them. And they were like, okay.
Sure. We still
And-
don't have this agreement in writing, so we're still fully going to put you in
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah.
Go do your thing.
to have whatever you want.
Yep.
For the record, we do not have your back.
No.
We are allowed to lie to your face.
Yep. It's
And we
literally a
will.
tactic.
Yeah. His handlers agreed and began identifying suspicious traders for him to set up meetings with.
I can't.
Guy, this is
His
one-
handlers who are like two elderly cats in a basket, clearly.
Mandy Patinkin. Guy, This is my favorite part. Guy pushed for James Bond-esque surveillance technology for his missions.
Like a new Jaguar with like cameras and shit in it.
Like a
exploding
cyanide
pens.
pill and a
Yes.
lapel.
Yeah, exactly. And he was rewarded with a realistic-looking Starbucks gift card that recorded audio.
But actually it didn't. They just told him it did, and it's just a Starbucks gift card.
So
With
you
no
wanted that
money on it.
you wanted that gum that when you smushed it together it exploded. But what I'm gonna give you is a notch above.
I love the idea that it's just a Starbucks gift card.
There's no cash on it.
No cash
They
on it.
just found it on the sidewalk.
They just knew this guy was such an idiot that they were like, okay, honey, here's your super secret Starbucks
They just go up to
recording.
the counter and grab one and bring it back to the table where they're meeting with him.
The back is already scratched off. You know there's nothing on that thing.
Oh my God. Okay, I love this. Holy shit.
So that recorded audio and then a dress shirt with a button had a camera in it. So
Okay.
like not super high tech, but
Very
can also-
James Bond.
You can
Very
buy this
James
shit
Bond.
on Amazon.
You can buy that at
yeah.
Spencer Gifts
yeah.
Spencer gift.
Yeah.
at the mall.
At first, I know you're surprised, Gentile was a terrible spy.
Oh, good.
One stockbroker recalls meeting him for what was supposed to be a casual drink, only to have Gentile immediately begin hammering him with questions about pump and dump schemes.
Yes. Yes.
So soup's cash.
So casual. Yeah. You're very inconspicuous.
The broker told Gentile that he sounded like a cop and just walked out of the bar.
Duh.
Also, what are you doing with this Starbucks gift
Why
card
are you
on the
waving
table?
this
Why are you
Starbucks gift
working
card
on
at
the
me?
bar?
face?
Every time he talks, he just holds the Starbucks gift card up to him like a microphone. Can you actually lean closer to the gift card, please, sir?
Speak directly into the gift card.
I'm sorry, the gift card didn't get that.
I'm sorry, my thumb was over the gift card.
Sir, speak directly into the gift card.
Dude, you sound like a cop. I gotta go.
Holy shit. I fucking love this. Oh my God. Okay.
But Gentile eventually got a lot better. He started
Yeah?
falsely claiming that he
He
had
kept the gift card in his wallet.
he started claiming that he had invented an algorithm that would swap shares back and forth among multiple accounts, making it seem like a stock's value was going up. So that he created a pitch.
Sure. Okay.
And then he would purposefully take days to return calls from his marks, making them eager to talk to him when he finally did make contact, which is classic. You make the mark come to you.
Classic
you make the mark sell
gaslighting.
you.
Yup.
how
All
he
my
gets a
years on
date,
Wall
too.
Street taught me that.
He gave his operation a name, Wall Street Underground.
Subtle.
I hate this man.
Fucking subtle.
And started using a signature move. Quote, giving each target a hug at their last meeting before the FBI moved in. So it was he had the kiss of death. He had a calling card.
He's like, okay, the ones that I hug are the criminals.
Yeah.
Here we go.
If we start making love, that means he's a criminal.
If I use tongue when I kiss them on the mouth, that means they're
Criminal.
the prime suspect.
So this hug move is exactly what he did in 2013 at the end of his final meeting with Adam Gottbetter. Gottbetter had continued to be extremely careful in these meetings. He pitched a deal to Gentile and other investors that involved using a shell company to buy cheap oil wells. And this was definitely shady, but not necessarily illegal
Right.
somehow.
That alone, but probably points to some other activities. Yeah.
In order to cross the line into this being illegal, the FBI had Gentile convince Gotbetter to agree to use this fake algorithm to inflate the stock price. Which I feel like that is entrapment if the undercover person is the one that pitches the illegal activity.
But also, like, entrapment's part of the job, too.
I
But
know.
also, like, think about, sex worker stings and stuff like that. They're
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, sending
kind
in
of
the
the same
fake
thing.
jobs.
But I mean, that's
to
not
just-
good either. But
No.
anyway.
well, no, but it's not legally entrapment because they do it all the fucking time.
Right. Based on this agreement, the FBI was able to arrest Gotbetter, who pled guilty to fraud and spent about a year in prison. So he's super fucked over his friend. But once this original target had been taken down, the FBI continued to want Gentile to inform for them because it's zero cost and risk to them
Yep.
and all benefit.
They didn't sign a contract.
And even though he enjoyed pretending to be an FBI agent, and this part is fucking terrifying, they had even given him an actual gun.
Oh, for God's sake.
For what purpose?
In case he got himself in a
Safety, quote unquote.
hairy situation. It shouldn't have happened.
A gooey situation?
Yeah.
No.
In case he found himself back in that syrup factory.
Yep.
So sticky.
Gentile had fucking realized and gotten a bit worried about the fact that he didn't have his deal in writing. And so he didn't have any proof of his cooperation with authorities. So he decided to flip the script and start recording his conversations with his FBI handlers as well.
Okay.
Please speak directly into
Double
the gift card.
agent. Yeah. And he gave them a gift card.
Yeah. And they were like, oh my God, thank you so much for this gift card, and didn't think twice. In 2014, his FBI handlers called a meeting with him to discuss an upcoming internal audit of their undercover operations. So at this point, they had spent a few $100,000 on expenses to like nab all of these Wall Street guys
Sure. Yep.
and give him a gun
Yeah.
and whatever.
$100,000 on like dinners
Meeting
and
at
shit?
diners, breakfast meetings.
It
Breakfast
seems
meetings?
really excessive to me, but maybe they had to like put him up in a fake office. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
In Gentile's recording of this meeting, his handlers tell him, quote, "Look at how you affected this space, how many people you've shut down. We never would have gotten near those people without you." So basically they're just like pumping him up and blowing
They're
smoke
sucking
up
his
his
dick.
ass.
They're sucking his dick. Yeah.
His handlers also advised him that if he's asked by the internal auditors if he directed any criminal activity, he should say no. So, whatever. And to which Gentile responds in the recording, "Of course I did." Anyway. They also caution him not to mention the gun.
Oh, no. Okay, so they're setting themselves up for
Yeah.
something
They-
fun.
By the way, don't bring up the gun.
Let's just keep that between us.
Yeah.
Let that one lie.
So Gentile was thrilled with his recording, which provided both the evidence that he wanted, that his cooperation had been valuable, and also evidence that his handlers had been acting unethically, and so he thought he could use this as leverage.
Sure.
He went on to record over 100 more talks with the FBI.
Whoa. I just think it's amazing that, like, they are setting him up with all of this equipment and setting him in as a mole, and they are not making sure he's not recording them. Like, don't sit in your comfort with this situation like that, FBI.
Also, don't
Hold your
trust
gift card
yeah.
up to your mouth.
Don't trust him.
He's got a
Stop
gift card
talking
around
into
his
the gift
neck like a
card.
necklace.
On a lanyard.
Yeah. Sir.
Also, wouldn't they have access to these recordings themselves?
He might
No,
be using
he's-
different equipment. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
he went
assume.
on Amazon, I'm sure, and got
Yeah,
his
he
own.
got his own gift card.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to Spencer Gifts.
But like,
Yeah.
don't trust a criminal
No.
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 who you're trying to fuck over.
This is very multidimensional.
So all the while, he is still continuing to inform for them. So he's still actually working for them. He just wants some insurance.
Right.
They even let him start suggesting targets, which also feels super unethical.
Yeah.
But then in 2015, Guy was contacted by prosecutors who told him that he would have to plead guilty to his original charges.
And Guy's like, nope, I got receipts.
He doesn't, though. He never signed anything.
Right.
Well, he's got audio receipts.
Right.
I guess.
Well, we will get to it.
Oh, great.
They assured him that he would not have to serve jail time, but Gentile was still furious because he
Sure.
felt like, hey, we had this deal.
He thought he had immunity.
Guy Fury.
Yeah, he was Guy Furious. And he was
And
not
also,
playing
like-
any grocery games.
I'm assuming like if he pled guilty, then he wouldn't be able to like trade stocks ever
Yep.
again or,
Yeah.
you know, lose some kind of a license.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, and it would be on his record even if he didn't have to serve jail time. So he's fucking pissed. He rejects the deal and reveals to the prosecutors that he'd been taping these meetings.
Okay.
So he thinks he's going to get off scot-free now. But
Nope.
whereas he thought these tapes would protect him, they actually just pissed off the prosecutors.
Oh, no. Who
they
are
just-
obviously going to side with the FBI.
Yeah. And they decided to rearrest Gentile on the original charges, which carried a possible prison term of up to 20 years.
Oh, no.
So they're like, oh, you think you got out of this?
Uh-huh.
No.
No.
You fucked up,
Yeah.
Gooey.
Probably should have just gone along with the FBI and not
Right?
like
And then hope
not
for the best
undermined
and
them.
left it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no justice, though, because Gentile was released on $500,000 bail and immediately got to work on a couple different projects. He created the website rogueinformant.com,
Oh
which
my
is no
God.
longer
Free Brian
available.
Hathaway, the deer fucker.
Yeah, free Brian Hathaway, deerfucker.com. The tagline read, quote, "They said he had ice flowing through his veins." And then this was over an image of a man stepping off a private jet.
Yes, it's like a Chuck Tingle novel cover.
He has this like fantasy of
Yeah,
himself
he
as
is-
James Bond.
Yes, he is
Did
so
he then
wrapped up in his ego
fuck
at this
the
point
jet?
Yeah, yes, I'm sure.
that he made love to the jet.
He also contacted a friend in Miami to help him, quote, record a rap
No.
about, quote, snitching.
No.
That included the lyrics, quote, "The feds don't know who they got, bro. I'm going rogue."
Okay. I'm calling
Wealth-
white nonsense on that shit.
Wealthy white men are not
can't.
allowed to commission themselves to perform a rap song about like
Not
Be
anything.
going
None of
rogue.
it's good.
Anything.
anything. I'll walk
You're
that
not
back.
Eminem.
Unless
Anything.
you are Weird Al Yankovic, you cannot.
Even that is a little old.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's borderline.
Gentile also threw himself an elaborate James Bond themed 40th birthday party in the Bahamas.
is a
hate
Petulant
this
child.
He's 40.
He's disgusting.
In the end, it wasn't Gentile's cooperation with the feds that got his charges dismissed, nor was it his subversion of the feds, or even his blossoming rap career. It was all much more mundane than that. Eventually, a judge dismissed the case, saying that the statute of limitations had expired.
The gift card had expired. So he walks.
You still get gold star status,
Yep.
sir. In celebration, Gentile posted a Wolf of Wall Street meme on Instagram with the caption, "Fuck you all."
Good Lord.
Cool.
This was
God,
very,
he's so white. I hate
know,
him.
a little bit more. This was very on brand for Gentile. Zeke Foe, a reporter who interviewed Gentile for a lengthy profile in Bloomberg in 2012, described his office as a, quote, shrine to rags to rich douchebag movies like Scarface and Wolf of Wall Street.
Ish.
Yeah.
But also, like, fucking duh.
Yeah.
Of course. I could,
Color
yeah.
me shocked.
Yeah. Other details from the meeting with Gentile include the fact that he was in possession of a MAGA hat.
Oh, great.
And
That's the least shocking thing about this entire story.
And this is so good. And before the beginning of the interview with this reporter, guy put on a techno version of the James Bond theme and began vaping with a mint-flavored pod.
No! No! Shut it down. I'm done. I'm done.
He's such a caricature.
A mint-flavored vape pod is the most redundant thing I've ever heard of.
I can't.
A techno version of the James Bond theme,
song. Which I really want to get my hands on.
Hold on, I just got to get my head in the game for this interview.
Did he sail in on his, what's that, like the hoverboard, those things with just the two wheels that everyone falls on?
Yeah.
Gentile continues to run his stock tip and trading businesses from the Bahamas. He continues to be periodically in the news, most recently for suing the SEC for damages and, my personal favorite story, for calling the cops on his ex-girlfriend, a Russian model, of course, after she pushed his Mercedes into his swimming pool.
Good girl.
Photo on the drive.
Yeah.
There's a photo on the drive. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah. He's the worst. He's wearing like an affliction t-shirt, too.
Oh.
Do you see the photo of him standing in front of the car in the pool?
Pool car.
He took a selfie in front of his soggy Mercedes.
It's good stuff.
Oh my God, it's like slicked back.
Yeah.
Long
He's disgusting.
Yeah. According to Gentile, the girlfriend told him she was pregnant, not with a child, but with a business idea.
No.
So she's also equally douchey as him. I
Was
love
that
it.
your editorializing?
Good
Yes.
Lord.
No. And she asked to borrow money, which he declined, and she got pissed and pushed his car in the pool. Gentile's future plans include writing and starring in a movie of his own life,
I would love to see that.
and also owning a car with the license plate FUDOJ.
Like Department of Justice.
Yep. And that is my case.
Yes. Brava. If this movie comes out, I just want everyone to commit to illegally downloading or streaming it so that this fucker does not make a dime.
I feel like this would actually make a really great, parody comedy movie where the joke is on him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like
I
the
want
Wolf of
Zach
Wall Street.
Galifianakis to write that.
Yeah, I want a super bad version of this guy's life.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well done, Kenyon.
Thank you.
Nice
So that's
job.
my case.
Okay, my case. Here we go. Rob and Andrew Kissel, and heads up, I do have some quotes from Dateline, so I'm going to try to do it in my best Keith Morrison voice. Let's see what happens.
Yes. Not
Rob
to
and
be
Andrew-
confused with, who did you think it was?
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards. It's
Not the same person.
I saw Keith Morrison at CrimeCon and I was like, Keith Richards. I just saw Keith Richards. She's
like,
like,
"You
no,
didn't."
you didn't.
I was like, I don't know
how to break
who
this
that
to you.
is, but I know
not
it's
Keith
not
Richards.
Keith Richards.
I love it. So Rob and Andrew Kissel were your average American white boys born into the idyllic lap of privilege. From Dateline. On drowsy days, the brothers played cutthroat Monopoly, passing go, piling up properties, and raking in the cash. As grown-ups, that's what both of them became. Masters of real-life Monopoly, buying big properties and savoring the perks that came with rolling the dice.
You
Nice.
sound just like Keith Richards. It's
Dateline is
uncanny.
so extra and I love it. Okay, moving on. Although Andrew was 4 years Rob's senior, he grew up in Rob's shadow a little bit. Sort of like the redheaded stepchild of the family. Wasn't naturally talented athletically or academically like his younger brother. Took him a lot longer to find his path and make his way to college. New York Mag said in an article, quote, "One son was an achiever, the other sniffed for shortcuts." And yes, all of this is sounding very fucking familiar. I see that. I can see it, okay? Some reports indicate that Andy and Rob did not have a close relationship, but nevertheless, they both found their way to a luxurious lifestyle with beautiful wives, vacation homes, yachts, and lavish mansions.
I love it when wives are listed amongst your other property.
Your assets. Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
Yep. Quote, but when it comes to tallying the winning and closing accounts, it isn't Monopoly, but another rainy day board game altogether. Clue.
Oh.
It better speaks to their brief lives and deaths, so eerily similar. Rob in the bedroom with a blunt object, and Andrew in the basement with a knife. And I'm not even sorry, and I'm not even close to stopping with these quotes. Okay. Rob met his wife, Nancy, in New York in the 80s, and the couple quickly fell in love, got married, and had 3 children. Rob, by then a wealthy and established Wall Street banker working for Goldman Sachs and later Merrill Lynch. So he worked closely with Wall Street, mostly managing other people's money. Was everything Nancy wanted in a partner, especially because he could fund the lifestyle that she had always wanted to live. In the early 90s, Andy also got married to a woman named Haley, who he met in Vermont when Haley was working as a ski instructor. So Haley was actually their sister Janet's, or whatever, I don't remember her name, ski instructor, and that's how they met.
Interesting.
It seemed everyone was thriving. Andrew even opened his own real estate business that Rob helped him launch. New York Mag writes, quote, Andrew called his company Hanrock.
Hand job.
Literally. Rob had helped with the business plan, and maybe that's why Andrew used the first letters of Haley, Andrew, Nancy, his brother's new wife, and Rob in the name. Hanrock purchased small apartment buildings in, quote, under-the-radar neighborhoods, as he told his father, mostly in Hudson County, New Jersey. By 1977, work had sent Rob on an assignment to Hong Kong, so he and Nancy and the kids started the next chapter of their lives as expats. Turns out the Kissel family was not super sad to see Rob and Nancy go, mostly because Nancy did not get along with Andy and Haley, or most of the Kissel family, including the patriarch, Bill, so their father.
How could you, Nancy? Your initial is in my fucking company name.
God, I've given you everything.
I could have called it
Hanrock. But the move may not have been the exciting new adventure that Nancy thought it would be. Investigation Discovery writes, quote, Nancy worked as a volunteer at the Hong Kong International School, but mainly spent her days shopping near the posh Parkview residential complex where the family lived. Despite the life of luxury, Nancy, who had once dreamed of pursuing an acting career, just don't, was unhappy and bored. She spent her days spending money, but soon began to resent her husband's long absences.
I definitely understand. Well, I don't understand this, but I've been adjacent to this.
Sure.
Personality.
You're overseas. You're not working in the career that you want to be in. Your partner is not always home. I mean, that's not an easy situation.
It's still the expat world is still pretty gendered. And there are a lot of folks who have a lot of money and are very bored and very separated from their lives and their identities and kick up some trouble.
Yep, for sure. So regardless of the underlying marriage issues, the move overseas, and the seemingly innocuous family dislike for Nancy, the family still often traveled from Hong Kong to Vermont to enjoy their favorite leisure activity, skiing, at the large family vacation home in Vermont. It was on one such a trip in 2003 that Nancy met Michael de Priore, an electrician who had done some work at the Vermont vacation home.
Ooh, Nancy's slumming it.
It's like the most classist shit ever, but yes, that's precisely what was happening here.
I mean, I'm not, well, you know what, I'm like, obviously an electrician.
Right,
like,
in the
that's
context
a great job,
of
but
this
in
bitch.
her mind, yeah, exactly.
It's still blue collar work, although electricians can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Soon after the relationship with Michael began, Nancy went on a spending spree and got a new tattoo, and that made Rob suspicious
Slow
as
down,
fuck.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Slow down.
It was
Cool
just a
it, Nance.
light bulb with a big dick coming out of it.
Probably. So he did what any rich dude would do and hired a private detective to keep an eye on his wife and installed spyware on her computer to read all of her emails.
Cool.
Almost immediately, the affair was confirmed, especially after seeing an email from Michael to Nancy that included this lovely line, "I love you when you call my name. It makes me melt."
But I don't love you when you're not
Calling
paying
my name.
explicit attention to me.
Correct.
Oh, Michael, that's actually like, kind of
little sweet.
sweet,
But also
because
ish.
it's so bad
It's
and
so
like
bad.
not sexy. Like
I
he
wanna
doesn't
see
know
the
what
sex.
he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just a bad writer. That's
Yeah,
all.
he's bad.
Yeah.
From New York Mag, quote, he being Rob, even considered bringing Nancy's lover to Hong Kong, even paying for the move as a way to work things out.
What?
It would have killed him, though, says a close friend. He was into justice in a big way. Nancy would make things bend to suit her, but Rob was very straight down the line. Rob and Nancy visited Australian friends in early 2003. Rob was really depressed. He still loved her very much, says one of those friends, but the marriage was over. You could just tell. So at this
Why
point,
on earth would he even consider bringing this Vermont electrician
I know.
to
I mean,
Hong Kong to bang his bored wife?
I'm
Well-
not going to judge too harshly how people want to save their marriages, but that's not an option that I would
also,
ever entertain.
Maybe he wanted to retain, some
way of
semblance
life.
of normalcy in Hong Kong.
They've got 3 kids.
And if she was just going to be so distant the whole time, maybe he was just trying to find a way to make her happy so that she
Who
could
knows?
act normal in front of their friends.
Literally, who knows?
Who knows?
And that also could have just been a candid conversation that he was having, and then got reported.
It also couldn't be, it might not be true at all. Who knows?
Right. So at this point, the family is all back in Hong Kong, and Rob was making arrangements to initiate divorce proceedings. Then, on November 2nd, 2003, Rob's young daughter brought him a milkshake.
Oh no.
He drank the delicious treat and grew quite tired shortly thereafter. He went to lay down when he was struck 5 times in the head with a decorative statue, a family heirloom from Nancy's grandmother. Nancy had prepared the milkshake with Rohypnol and several other sedatives that she had been recently prescribed. And that I don't think she was prescribed Rohypnol, but the other sedatives she was.
Is that
And then
even a
given the
prescription?
cocktail to her young child to deliver to her husband.
That's horrible.
Yep.
To get the kid involved in drugging your spouse so you
Yep.
can murder them.
And what kid isn't going to sneak a sip of that milkshake? That's a highly dangerous maneuver.
yeah.
From New York
Yeah.
Mag, quote, 6 days later, Nancy was arrested. Police said she'd slept in the room with Rob's body for 2 days before buying a new carpet, rolling Rob's body inside the old one, and then directing workmen to put his wrapped up body in the carpet in storage.
She's totally lost her mind.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
bonkers.
gonna smell by then, and also workmen are gonna be able to tell there's a fucking body rolled
Yeah.
up in some carpet.
Yeah.
Also, Hong Kong gets very hot and humid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nancy
what time of year
would
was
now
it?
be
oh,
known in the-
November. Yeah,
in-
it's fucking hot.
It's very hot. Nancy would now be known in the press as the milkshake murderer.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
About
Nancy
time.
was about time. Her legacy. Nancy was arrested and charged with murder and immediately began laying the framework for a self-defense claim. According to Nancy, her marriage had been physically and emotionally abusive. She alleged that Rob had repeatedly assaulted her, both physically and sexually, over the last 5 years, and also alleged that Rob was a violent alcoholic and cocaine addict. So any of these claims could absolutely be true, regardless of not being corroborated. Abusers are often secretive, charming, and cunning. But I also take this specific information with scrutiny given Nancy's behavior, and a defense like this is a very tough one because I believe victims when they come forward about abuse. And there are the rare assholes out there who fabricate these claims in situations such as this one that then undermine the credibility of abuse survivors.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating
Yeah.
and a really sticky spot. And thanks, I hate it. And that's all I have to
and
say
even
about
if it's
that.
like 1 out of 100, people tend to cling.
Yes,
to
this
that
is what
one.
like shitty
Yeah.
men cling to when they're defending abusers. And so this behavior is so unacceptable. So she pled not guilty at trial and admitted during proceedings, like in cross-examination, that she had indeed bludgeoned her husband to death, but could not account for how she inflicted 5 head wounds because of, quote, memory loss. So she's like, I guess I hit him over the head, but I don't know how I could have hit him 5 times, and that statue's so heavy, I just don't remember.
Oh, so she's trying to make it seem like self-defense, but the fact that it was 5 times is fucking that up.
And the
so
drugging.
she had to pull a Chicago
Yep. So
spread eagle.
a spread eagle. So when
He ran into my heirloom
my
statue
grandmother's
5
statue
times.
10 times.
Yeah. Also, apparently she must not have liked that heirloom statue because
I
you could have
guess
used
not.
literally anything else.
Anything else.
I'm curious as to what the heirloom statue was.
I wish I could confirm that, but I don't know. When addressed about the clear premeditation of drugging her husband with the tainted milkshake, she told the court that she regularly used her prescribed sedative, Stilnox.
I have that.
Get it, girl. Well, hopefully you're not doing this with it. In her husband's... This story is actually about Kenyon.
I have that
have
prescription's laxative. Oh, sedative. I thought it was
Sedative.
laxative.
Sedative.
We also have a
I don't
laxative.
need a laxative.
Fair.
No, you don't.
But she said she used it in her husband's whiskey regularly with the intention of making him less aggressive, but said it wasn't working.
You
So
are
she
not
claimed,
supposed to mix that with alcohol.
No.
No.
So, and this was confirmed that she had been putting it in his whiskey, like with some regularity, like in the bottle,
She was trying
because
to kill him and it wasn't working.
1,000%. And friends and neighbors had reported after the fact, like during the trial, that they had come over and had like a glass of the whiskey that still had some remnants in the bottle of the drugging, and that they often would feel like really groggy and go home early.
She put it in the bottle?
In the bottle, yeah. Yeah.
She was trying to make him less aggressively alive.
Right.
Is what she
Exactly.
meant.
yeah. Trying to make sure her husband breathed less aggressively.
Correct.
But also,
So-
like, been there.
Yeah. She claimed she tried the same thing in the milkshake, but upped the dosage to get the desired effect because the Stilnox wasn't working the way she wanted. So from investigation discovery, quote, but prosecutors hit back by detailing how Nancy had tried to cover her tracks after the murder. The day after she killed Robert, she wrote emails to cancel appointments and explain her husband's absence from work. My husband is not well, she said in one email to a friend, according to the prosecution. I need to take care of something. Sorry, I'll be in touch soon. And at trial, it emerged that Robert had consulted divorce attorneys a few months before his death, but had ignored advice to change the main beneficiary of his will. So she was also going to get all that money. Another bit of compelling testimony came from Rob's hired private detective, who said Rob had disclosed to him concern that Nancy was trying to poison him. And the PI encouraged Rob to report this to the police at the time and provide blood and urine samples for lab testing, but Rob never did that. He didn't follow
That's a good
through.
PI.
That's a very good PI. So Nancy was convicted of murder, which she appealed successfully in 2010 and was granted a new trial. This did not go the way that she had hoped, however, as she was convicted again in 2011 and sentenced to life in prison.
In Hong Kong.
No, I think she's in the United States. The drama, however, does not end there. The three children were fought over by both sides of the family, first being sent to live with Nancy's stepfather, Ira. This did not work out well, as Ira and his ailing, or it's just maybe her father and stepmother, but I don't know. I don't remember. But Ira was in his 60s. He has an ailing wife. They're now responsible for three children between the ages of 3 and 9 years old. Like, that's a lot. So then the kids went to live with Ira's son, so Nancy's half-brother, whose name is Brooks. He was a 24-year-old med student and also not equipped to take on three children, though he did try in his defense.
Oh
Rob's-
my God.
Yeah, that's too much responsibility for anyone.
That's
Rob's
a plot
father-
line for some Brittany Murphy movie, isn't it?
Or
maybe.
Kate Hudson movie, was it?
I don't remember, but I know what you... I think
Someone was saddled with some kids while they
Right.
like super didn't want to be.
Yeah.
It's probably on the Hallmark Channel somewhere.
Yeah.
So Rob's father, Bill, was not happy about any of this and aggressively moved in on Brooks. According to Brooks, quote, he was pretty malignant. He threatened that he would ruin me and everyone that was close to me, bankrupting my father, making sure I never practiced medicine. And he at least gave the appearance that he meant it. So Rob's sister Jane was also interested in custody, but already had 2 young children of her own. And Patriarch Bill was too old to take on the 3 kids. So this left Andrew Kissel, who officially sued for custody of the children. Nancy's side of the family signed off, and Andrew took the kids to start his new life with them in Greenwich Village with his wife, Haley, their 2 children, and Rob's 3 children.
They'd have to, well,
That's
they
a
were
lot.
rich, so
Yes.
they could afford that, but Greenwich Village ain't cheap, let alone with 5 kids.
No.
It's still a lot, though. No
It's
matter
a lot.
how much money you have, like that many kids is still a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, and we'll get to it. So it seemed the story was going to come to as peaceful an end as possible, but wait, there's more.
Always.
Andrew's real estate business was not doing well. Hand
Oh, I forgot
cloth,
Andrew was the
whorecock,
one that
or
was
whatever it
less
is.
successful.
Yep. Was not doing well, and instead of coming out of debt honestly, it seemed Andrew was going back to the ways of his youth, trying to take shortcuts to evade responsibility. Quote, he'd already liquidated his New Jersey real estate for about $25 million, even after deducting about $8 million in bank debt and $14 million owed to investors. He still had probably $3 million of profit, which is great. Andrew, though, netted much more since he failed to inform investors that he'd sold the properties. Instead, he continued to send them their share of the supposed income along with rosy financials. So he was continuing to,
So he
sort of
basically
appease them.
created a Ponzi scheme after the
100%.
fact.
Yep, and was skimming off the top and not disclosing all of the sales within the real estate business. And Andrew's lavish spending consistently overreached the money coming in, causing more stress on his wife, Haley, who felt she was left with all the work raising 5 children.
Yeah.
She
I'd be
often-
fucking pissed.
I'd be so pissed. And she often turned to her sister-in-law, Jane, to talk about her marriage. So Jane is Andrew and Rob's sister. Jane, alarmed by some of the things Haley was telling her about Andrew, started taking notes about their phone conversations in the event that things escalated and stuff went to court.
So Jane, even though she is Andrew's sister, is on the side of his wife, Haley, because she knows her brother can do shady shit.
1,000%.
And she probably wants to protect her nieces and nephews.
Yep.
I
who
love
she
Jane.
actually had wanted custody of. And there's a lot of stuff about the custody battles between all of the family that I just didn't get into. Quote, the notes begin dramatically on July 2nd, 2004. Haley said,
birthday.
yeah, there it is. Haley said she's leaving Andrew. The next day, Haley told Jane that Andrew was having an affair. It is the last straw, Jane's notes. He has embarrassed her enough. On June 16th, 2004, at 7:15 in the morning, Haley added in an email, I am busting my ass taking care of 5 kids while he's off having dinner with her at nice restaurants and calling her all day.
Oh, yeah, I'd be
Not
fucking
cool.
done with his ass, too.
Yep. And soon Haley confided suspicions about Andrew's business. Quote, she thinks his business is a Ponzi scheme, say the notes. She thought he sold a building and didn't tell anyone. She does not want to have to explain to her kids why dad is in jail.
Oh, this poor woman.
Yep.
Get ready.
Yeah, I know. So between trouble at home and the discovery of an estimated 25 million in real estate fraud in 3 different states, with the FBI closing in and about to make charges, Andrew was not in a good place. An ugly custody battle and divorce ensued, which obviously went in Haley's favor because Andrew was facing a minimum of 8 years in prison for his fraud. He'd liquidated all of his assets in an attempt to pay creditors and defrauded investors. And when the time came for him to finally move out of their Greenwich home, Andrew's driver, Carlos Trujillo, who had been working for Andrew for years and years and years, came to help him with the last items in his house.
Oh, it sounds like maybe they lived in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Either way,
Not
I
Greenwich
don't
Village.
remember.
But that would make a lot
somewhere.
more sense. Greenwich, Connecticut is super
They're both
wealthy.
super wealthy. So the driver, Carlos, comes over to help him out. And then the next morning, Andrew's body is found on April 3rd, 2006, with his wrists bound, stabbed in the back several times, and his t-shirt pulled up over his head to cover his face. So now he's also dead. Both brothers.
What?
And
Is this wild?
This is wild because going
Yeah.
in, you assume that one brother is going to kill the other brother, or it's going to
Nope.
be a murder-suicide.
Nope. Wife
No.
milkshakes the first brother.
Yeah.
And then years later, the second brother is murdered. So investigators immediately look at Haley, who maintained her innocence and cooperated fully with police. But then eyes fell on Carlos, who was the last to see Andrew. And the investigation took over.
Driver? What does he have to get out of it?
He just hated the guy, maybe.
I don't
mean,
it
I
was
hate
definitely I think it was trying to get money because he'd liquidated all of these assets and I think he had cash on hand. And he was about to see jail time, so he wanted to kind of strike while he was out free.
Yeah, because also you liquidate all your assets. That means that there is no like insurance on those
Right.
assets, so like your family's not gonna get any of it.
So
Right?
the investigation into Carlos took over 5 years to gather enough evidence to bring charges. As it turns out, Carlos had not worked alone, recruiting his cousin Leonard to assist. Quote, Leonard Trujillo pleaded guilty to manslaughter and conspiracy to commit murder in 2009 and testified against Carlos at his trial, telling a jury that he was hired by his distant cousin to kill Kissel for $11,000 and a computer. Not worth it.
Oh.
But I understand the desperation, and that is a lot of money. Leonard claims he backed out of the deal after getting his money and doesn't know what happened that night, but evidence at the scene does indicate that that
he got
Carlos,
his money and the guy ended up dead, so that's not looking good for Leonard.
Exactly.
And a computer.
Yeah. So Carlos Trujillo was arrested in 2008 and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. He was later recharged with murder and attempted murder. After being acquitted of murder at a March trial, Trujillo avoided a retrial on the attempted murder charge by pleading guilty under the Alford doctrine. So he entered an Alford plea, which you know from the staircase. Which enabled him to maintain his innocence. Carlos was sentenced to 6 years, which accommodated 3 years of time served, and will be deported to Colombia, back to Colombia, where he is from, upon release, which I believe already happened, but reporting on this whole thing kind of stopped in 2011, so I'm not 100% sure.
That is wild.
That is my case. Isn't
Jesus.
that bonkers?
Can you imagine being those kids where it's
I
like
mean-
just like the simple, it's so sad, like the simple question of like, so where are you from? And then they have to be like, well,
my father and
we
my
lived in
other
Hong Kong
father
until my mom had
murdered
me
my
help murder my
dad
dad,
with a
and then
milkshake.
we went to Connecticut, and then we
my
went,
uncle got murdered, who had become my dad.
but in
Yeah.
between, I also had a 24-year-old dad and
As
also
my
a
dad,
retired dad.
And a 62-year-old dad. I mean, it's been a whirlwind.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
That is, that's
It's so
crazy.
twisty turn, and there's so much more. I don't usually cover cases like that intensely entwined. But first of all, you had me at milkshake murderer, okay?
Right.
And then
I mean-
I that's what grabbed me, and then I
That's
was
the
like,
real pull of
oh
this case.
shit, this is
There's a lot more to
box.
this.
So much more. So check it out if I didn't cover enough, but I gave you the meat and potatoes.
Nice.
Nice job.
That should sustain you.
Well, special thanks this week to our very special fan picker, Maddie Eichenlaub.
Oh, God bless.
I can applaud you.
I can applaud you.
Yes. I
All
love
right,
it.
and for other special thanks, you're going to hear those monthly if you join our Patreon. We're doing our special thanks, horrible puns in mega
Yep.
lists on Patreon once a month. So
Correct.
go over there to hear your name be butchered.
Do it.
All
We'll
right.
see you next week.
Bye-bye.